Hey, if you miss us live, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast.
My name's Tony Wood. I'm the general manager at Fred Bean's Kia and Langhorne. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about Larry Feldman and Career Changers USA. Larry and I have been working together for about the last 12 years now, and anything I've ever needed as far as recruiting, training, Larry's been right there. Larry's got me salespeople, he's got me managers, he's got me technicians, even through the toughest times in the industry. And he is just the kind of guy who's going to tell you exactly what's on his mind. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. But Larry also has the expertise to back it up. When he was in the dealership world, he was a top performer. And that's really important to my staff, especially as it pertains to training. A lot of people can come in and teach out of a textbook, but Larry has real world experience dealing with customers, dealing with situations in dealerships that we go through on a daily basis and try to train on. But Larry's been through it, so he can really empathize with the people and tell you what's worked for him and maybe what way not to go. Larry is just always at a 10. I mean, his energy level is always up there. And I think people, they just love that and they feed off of it. He's not faking it. He is genuinely excited to come in and help you. He's excited to come in and help grow your business. And he's one of those people who just really enjoys seeing dealers succeed and have a lot of fun at the same time.
Life is about connection, having a support system to lean on, and roads to endless possibility. At every turn, guiding the way, we are building the connections that move you.
So what would your dealership feel like if your entire sales staff was literally on fire, your sales and service staff? They were nonstop all over social media, completely dominating your marketplace. They could do it in 30 days or less and then continue their education to do it for an entire 6 months or a year. You literally would completely take over the entire marketplace and no one would be able to compete with you. And that's what we can do for you. So when you're walking around your community, whether you're at local restaurants or you're going to the gym, if you don't want to be bothered, fine, you won't be bothered. But a lot of people will walk up to you and say, oh my God, I love your social media. Your staff is amazing. We love what you're doing in the community. We want to come buy a car from you. We want to get an oil change at your dealership. Your community is absolutely going to love you. And it doesn't matter what platform you're on. You could be on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all social media platforms. You will literally be all over the place. And not only will you have ads running, but your own staff is going to be promoting your brand and promoting themselves within the dealership and within the business. So it's like running an ad times 100-fold because your entire staff is participating in the process. I've traveled all over North America. I've trained Toyota. I've trained Nissan. I've been to driving sales. I've been to Women in Auto. I get hired as a speaker for conferences at universities all over the country. And I can help change the trajectory of your dealership right now.
Ian, and this is Jeff here at NADA 2024, and here we are at Protective F&I Stuff, and we're with the man, the plan, Rick Kurtz. Rick, say hello. Hello, live.
Hello.
Introduce yourself, tell us about you, the company, and...
Absolutely. I'm Rick Kurtz. I'm the Senior Vice President and Chief Distribution Officer for Protective's Asset Protection Division. Protective is a 108-year-old company. Our division has been working with auto dealers, the Asset Protection Division, since 1962, continuously. So we have a long and continuous history of partnering closely with dealers, providing industry-leading consumer protection products.
Fantastic. So to get started, tell us what your view of the state of the market is today, because things are changing super fast.
Yeah. Can you tell me where they're going, Jeff?
Yeah, I have my predictive AI, which is somebody else's name, right over there. And for only $100,000 a month, I can predict where things are going.
Okay.
I give a guarantee of 6 hours.
Okay, 6 hours.
6 hours.
Plus or minus 6 hours, right? So.
Well, it's the car dealership. It's, the typical used car lot warranty. 3 minutes or 30 feet, whichever comes first.
Yeah. I think your question, we were laughing, but I think it's a good one. I'm calling it a return to normal. And I think what we found now is over the last year, dealership inventories have increased by 50%. We're seeing downward pressure on prices for the first time. If you remember back during the pandemic, it was a seller's market. There was very few options, and you either came in and you purchased that vehicle, and if you didn't, someone was right behind you that was going to purchase that vehicle. So there was very little emphasis on salesmanship, features, benefits, all these things, just because inventory was so tight. But now we're getting back where we have inventory. So we're having to teach our sales staffs again, how do we create value? How do we show the value to that consumer now for the first time in probably 24 months, now has choices in what he or she is going to purchase. And so it's back to what it was before. We're seeing downward pressure. And beyond that, we're seeing macroeconomic trends like higher interest rates. We're seeing inflation. All of this is creating tremendous affordability issues for the consumer. And so it's, we're driving transaction prices are at all-time high. Consumer auto installment loans are at all-time high in terms of the length of those loans. So very much a challenge for F&I, a challenge for retail, and we're seeing that in that the average dealership profitability has actually dropped by double digits year over year.
I think they agree with you. The Automotive show margin band.
Yeah.
We should pause for just a moment.
Look. That's in my contract. I have a band everywhere I go.
I think they're like robots or something. Yeah. So Rick, before we were so pleasantly interrupted, tell us a little bit more. You were talking about how F&I and the benefit for the consumer.
Yeah.
That it's a consumer market.
It is, and really it's a necessity for the dealers as well. I was talking about how dealership profit is dropping year over year. And so that really necessitates that the dealers look to replace that income in other areas. One of those areas that fits very naturally is F&I products. We were talking about consumer affordability and inflation and constraints on the household budgets, and that makes these protection products more important than ever. Yeah. So, all of us are dependent upon our vehicles in every facet of our day-to-day lives. And, for many of us, if we don't have a working vehicle, we can't get to work. We can't get to school. You can't get your children to daycare. So all of these things are incredibly important. And most of the time with, if you have a backup camera the cameras or the sensors, that could be $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 just for the sensors. And so when you look at the overall percentage of consumers that have, more than $1,000 readily available for unforeseen emergencies, it's an incredibly small percentage of the population, which makes protecting the asset so important, and which makes it for our dealers as well to make sure that they're offering and really selling the benefits of those products to the consumer and matching up with a good professional presentation, the right features and benefits and the right product for that consumer needs. It's not a one size fits all. all of us have different needs, and we have different driving habits. We have different things that are important to us. Whether it's a vehicle we're buying for a child that's going back and forth to college, whether it's a second vehicle, whether it's a primary vehicle, that's all going to influence maybe what the right product is, and making sure that we're presented with a very professional product presentation by the F&I office.
Yeah, we did a show on Monday on the state of electric vehicles. And I know there's been a lot of talk about inventory of them and cost point, and obviously there's always some political spin, but there's a lot of used car dealers that say, hey, maybe there's an opportunity to sell some of these pre-owned. What kind of solutions does your company cover for the EV space?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'll talk about the EV market in general. I think when you see that Hertz, they're dumping a third of their EV fleet because
I don't think we should do something. They are using a market adjustment in which to work with consumer demands and challenges at the moment. Wouldn't you say?
That's why you're in media.
There we go. I'm actually in sales, so no, sir, that's not a dent. That's what we call an aerodynamic feature.
A mark-to-market adjustment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the reality is we all serve at the consumer's discretion and the consumer needs. And so the consumer is going to tell us when we really go all in on EVs. I think we see it internationally in other countries where adoption rates are much higher. We see many manufacturers that are taking a global perspective with their platform.
Right.
But, in terms of the States here, we really see the strength is in really the pockets on the coast right now. You see it in the Northeast. You see it in the in the West Coast, in the Bay Area in particular. So you're starting to see double-digit percentage of sales that are EVs. So it's taking hold. Less so in the Midwest and the South and the areas, frankly, because the infrastructure is a challenge. For us, we've been very much involved in covering EVs for almost a decade.
Right.
But what we've learned is the EV buying process and the EV consumer really wants a unique something tailored to them. So though we've not really had to alter our coverages all that much because we've been covering them, we have to alter our marketing approach. It's really something that's tailored to that EV purchase, because when you look at the sale of EVs, they're all very tailored. It's not a traditional sales process, whether it's Tesla, whether it's the one-off sort of buildings, whether it's one-off franchises for EVs. It's very unique, and we've had to follow suit there. But ultimately, we're going to follow what the consumer wants and needs.
Yeah, well, Jeff had the opportunity yesterday to drive the new Fisker Ocean.
Yeah,
maybe you could talk a little bit of experience.
Yeah,
at that.
and
was that big dent I saw in that? Was that you?
actually, it's a polycarbonate aerodynamic. Well, I got to tell you, I had to admire the fellow that rode with us because, they have what they call a hyper mode, which is like Tesla's ludicrous mode.
Yeah.
And there he is on his phone in the passenger seat. And I'm going down Paradise Avenue at about 106 miles an hour.
Were you on your phone, looking at your phone?
I was actually checking my hair out, actually. You understand that one. Yeah, but it is a different thing. It is a different thing. So I got a little note here.
Yeah.
So we want to do that.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of higher mileage vehicles out there now. And how does that impact the dealers that you deal with? Because, literally I'm seeing people saying that 150,000 miles isn't a lot of miles anymore.
Yeah.
And being a car guy, I go,
yeah. Well, it depends on how those 150,000 were maintained, right? We all know that. If a vehicle that you had kept for 150,000 miles, I'm going to guess that it would be meticulously maintained and serviced. And
okay.
For the record, that's Ian laughing.
That's Ian's laughing. Well, that's always something I've wondered about with warranties, because, so you get a car 150,000 miles.
Yes.
It goes through the shop. They check it out. It checks out fine. They don't do a fluid viscosity test and to see if there's any fillings in there. We know it's a risk. We know your products are insurance, but what kind of a challenge is that for you guys?
Well, first of all, we've been in the business for a long, long time. But we just made an acquisition a little over a year ago of a company called AUL out of Napa, California. They're really the torchbearer in the high mileage service contract business. They've been in that segment almost exclusively for more than 25 years. So when you have that, we have our own breadth of data and experience, and we overlay with theirs, and we've got a really, really good understanding of the risks. But we started our conversations talking about the retail market, and the inventory constraints that we've been dealing with over the last couple of years. By necessity, that's forced dealers to keep those higher mileage vehicles on their lot, and what they maybe In the past, they would wholesale those off. Well, now they retail them up. And plus, you look at consumer affordability as well.
Right.
And so now you want those two things that makes them a very desirable commodity. But Jeff, you nailed it. When a consumer is purchasing a vehicle that is 120, 130, 140, 150,000 miles, a service contract almost becomes essential. You want that peace of mind. Yeah, and you have to look at it much like healthcare. We have service contracts that cover just the principal mechanical pieces to ones that, depending on the mileage in the vehicle, will cover all into the technology as well. Again, it's not one size fits all. Well, you might be only concerned with the drivetrain and make sure it goes, and Ian might be, if my technology goes, my life's over, right? I'm just speculating. I'm just speculating.
Well, you know, what's scary is I was going to say, you know, older cars.
Yeah.
And some of the things, so now you've got these older cars with a lot of high tech stuff. So older, like a 2015, I can't believe I said 2015 older, but a 2015 BMW, because I know in a circumstance, and the blind spot monitor only on the right side wasn't working. We know that's a challenge. Where are you seeing a lot of that stuff?
Oh, we see that stuff all the time. But remember, it's all about risk, and for risk, there's an associated premium, right? So if you want a 2015 BMW, you want to cover it, and it has 160,000 miles on it, and you want every piece of technology. One, I'm not sure we'd even write that risk because, but if we did, the associated premium would be commensurate with the risk.
BMWs are good cars. Remember that.
Yeah.
And I would imagine a Toyota with all that stuff, with 150,000 miles, 2015, would have an appropriate premium attached to it.
You are correct. It is not a one-size-fits-all premium. It's a very risk-specific premium. So,
Yes.
yeah, certain vehicles are better risked as they age than others.
Well, yes, a Toyota FJ Cruiser probably has a zero premium because nothing ever goes wrong with them.
Okay.
So, my favorite question.
Yeah.
And then Ian's got a question.
Yeah.
You can see it's right there.
Yeah.
Other than more business, what are you guys looking to gain from the show?
Yeah, I think for us, it's really insight into trends and really what's looking forward. You know, we partner very closely with dealers and dealerships. And so it's really important to us that we're continuously supporting their strategy in their businesses. And so for us, it's really twofold being here. It's understanding and making sure that the trends that we see are still relevant. And then it's interacting with our clients here as well, both in appreciation and then really just connection with them. And then certainly to a certain degree, there's people that are always looking. So you really have those three, new business acquisition, but really in that order, I would tell you: trends, client relations, and acquisition.
Perfect. Ian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from a point of view of getting started with the company, how you stand out from your competition, why someone should choose you versus other options, I'd say good or bad.
Yeah.
What would you say to a dealer who says, listen, I'm looking for a solution. How quickly can you get me started, and why should I choose you? What would you say?
I think that, thank you. When, we love to field that question.
Yeah.
One, as I explained, we've been partnering with auto dealers since 1962. Yeah. We're part of an international insurance company. We have our own A-rated property and casualty insurance company.
Right.
We are, I would say, the most transparent in terms of the way we do business in our industry. And, we really approach this business knowing we serve at the dealer and the consumer's discretion. Without them, we don't have jobs.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, so there's no benefit. We're perfectly fine if the consumer wins. If the consumer wins, that means the dealer wins. And if the dealer wins, that means ultimately we win, and we're good being third in line.
Oh,
and I will tell you, Ian, the other thing, and it's probably a conversation for another day, but we partner in terms of the risk profile with our dealers and share underwriting profit and investment income.
Oh, okay.
And that's a huge opportunity for dealers. And that's really a differentiator for us as well. So
I had another question about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you do work in the U.S. Are you looking to look at Mexico as a market, or Brazil, or other countries at all?
we do.
Or Canada.
But I will tell you that it would not be organic expansion. It would most likely be acquisition. We're a very aggressive acquirer of businesses. And so it's might be much better for us if we go that route to acquire someone who's got the brand equity, the presence, the infrastructure in those countries, rather than go there and take our beatings, learning the lessons.
Now, I've also seen that you guys have an opportunity for a dealer-owned warranty.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's that. And to me, I think that's pretty close to being totally unique.
Yeah. It's we bought a company in 2016, the beginning of 2016, called U.S. Warranty.
Okay.
But really, the the originators of that concept. They were a Florida company, and we've since taken it nationally. But you're absolutely right. So when you think about an F&I company like ours, what we really do is create a smaller version of that for the dealer. And so the dealer, he or she, they can then look at their own branding of that program, tailor the coverages to their marketing strategies and their business strategies, things like that. And they participate in almost entirely in all the underwriting and investment income as well. Now, it's not for everybody. It requires a certain scale.
Another question is there investment income located in the Grand Cayman?
No. No.
There's a small company where we're from that has interesting thoughts on that. But anyway, go ahead.
Hey, listen, I'm not passing judgment. We just tend to be more conservative in terms of, remember, these monies are premiums to cover risk. And you don't want to put that, you cannot put that money at risk.
No, and that's true. Insurance is quite highly regulated.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Jeff.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience that we haven't covered on, although we've gone very in depth?
I think we've touched upon it. I think it's time we all need to get back to work. We started this way. We're going to have to remember how we sell again. You corrected me around the EVs, Jeff. I appreciate that in the terms of the verbiage that I use. So I need to learn to make sure I can go back, but it's that time where we have to go back and really sell the value. And I think it's going to be a time where there's a true flight to quality. We're seeing it already. The good, legitimate companies offering legitimate products to benefit the consumers and the dealers are going to thrive, and they're going to grow larger and larger. And frankly, those who don't, they'll probably drift away.
Well, it's very funny because you say that, because we're very centered in the retail world.
Yeah.
And that's why our audience likes, to hear from people from you, because it gives them an idea what to do.
Yeah.
But there's one of our friends of our show that's a regular on it says there is a day of reckoning coming. And if it isn't here already, and that's, you got these salespeople that from before, we made a joke before this. Oh, by the way, the car you bought had a warranty registered on it 5 minutes ago, and you got the Platinum Plus 22-year warranty for $9,000.
Yeah.
Because all these people that are doing, I'm going dealers, I'm going salespeople, F&I managers, companies. Whereas before, sure, you're the only guy I got, I'll take it. I got a car, you want to buy it? No, okay, buy it.
Yeah.
That's going to change because they're all going to be gone.
Well, now they have the consumer, and that's a whole different conversation, but just the buying process, right?
Yeah.
Now I can shop for 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 cars online before I ever get into the dealership, right? And so that's great. That consumer experience is just changing, and we as businesses that support that have to change with it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I greatly appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much. I wish you nothing but continued success and not sore feet. Or we'd like to partner with you at our Dr. Scholl's booth next year. So anyway,
I thank you both for your time.
Thank you. The pleasure is all ours.
Ian, pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, if you missed us live, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast.